Hi, this is Jeff Blauette, technical agronomist with Cooperative Farmers Elevator, and on this week's Field Friday segment, kind of wanted to show you something I've come across in one of our plots that frankly I was kind of hoping we wouldn't find, but I have now. We found some tar spot out in our Lake Park plot location. We went out, I've been out looking at quite a few plots just trying to find some and some hybrids that maybe we're going to expect to be the canary in the coal mine, a little more susceptible. And I actually found some out in this plot. And I've been looking, this is the first one I've come across. So what are we actually seeing? Probably seen it in trade publications and magazines if you're interested, but you kind of see that little black spotting or whatever on the leaf. It's probably an accurately named disease. I've got a better view of here, maybe a close-up. So we have some that have quite a bit on, and then I also was able to find, a random black single spot here and there. So it's very light. You got to look really hard to find one with a lot of spots like these leaves that I showed you in the picture here. But so what's that mean and how did it get here? First thing is, to get it here, it had to blow up from the south. I don't know if it was southern Iowa or Missouri or where, but we had some south winds. Had some inoculum blow in and deposit it in some of these fields, and we just happened to run across one here where it actually took hold. So those spores blow up from the south. Like a lot of our diseases, we've seen a bunch of southern rust this year. We've seen common rust. We have some other diseases that routinely blow up from the south, but tar spot's another one. Tar spots, it's got all the euphoria in the media, it's been blown up to be this, the be-all, end-all of everything, and it's just another disease that we'll have to manage. Essentially, tar spot is no different. It's disrupting the solar panel ability of these leaves. That's all these leaves on a corn plant are, is a solar panel, and any lesions or any brown we get on those, the spots and dots as we call it, they're going to have some impact on that plant's ability to photosynthesize, so we want to minimize that as much as we can. So we talk about the three legs of the stool or the disease triangle. So what does it take to have a disease show up in a plant? You need to have the right weather conditions, which we obviously had a little bit of. We need to have the host crop, which obviously we have corn, and then we need to have the inoculum, which we had blow up apparently. So once we have the inoculum here, it also will overwinter here. So we can have this residue be here next year. And if this was corn again, or in 2 years when this is corn again, depending on rotation, we have some inoculum around that'll overwinter in the residue. So again, here it's not very much. I had to look pretty hard to find a leaf with that much on it, but it is here. It's the first time I've seen it, even though we've been looking. So just to be aware, what we've got going on. So the conditions that are more hospitable for tar spot are actually cool, damp weather for a period of time. They talk like 60 to 70 degrees is the ideal temperature, with lots of humidity, which we all know how it's been this summer. You've got humidity and fog and dampness around, where some days the canopy is probably damp all day if we have not a lot of wind. So I think it's over 7 hours of leaf wetness is the best case for that disease, and we've had some of that obviously this year. So we do have the ability to manage it. Fungicides are pretty effective if you use the right ones. A lot of the newer ones are the ones that we want to target because the longer residual is going to be helpful also, and they're effective on the disease we're targeting here. And it is probably a more severe disease if we don't manage it. Our friends to the east have seen it damage quite a bit of yield in worst case scenario. I don't know we're going to get to that worst case scenario as often. We're not in as damp an environment as they are when you get into Illinois and out east, typically in northwest Iowa. Not that we can't have some periods, but not typically probably the same as what's out there, and that's probably why it started out there, and it's probably always, for the most part, going to be more severe there than here, but still something we need to deal with. There is some hybrid differences. That's why I'm out in this particular hybrid. It's a known susceptible hybrid to tar spot. That's going to be something you're going to want to discuss with your CFE agronomist to see if you have hybrids that are more known to be susceptible. And just go out and take a peek, see if you can find anything. You probably won't, but I think it's worth knowing if you have the inoculum for future management. And you know, if we have the right weather conditions in the future, if we have inoculum here and we have more blow up from the south, we may have to deal with some of these things going forward, more so than we've worried about them in the past. But I don't want to alarm anybody. It's like I say, it's not severe. It's not something that we've got any issue with now, but it is the first time I've seen it, and I wanted to show you guys kind of what I've seen out here. So with that, that's this week's Field Friday segment, and we'll see you next week.